That's fun, having decided to go to that. Literally nothing else is as scary anymore. Hey everyone, I'm Kit. This week I am yet again setting out on a solo adventure in the Charles-Seeding Wilderness. I'm returning to very familiar ground and hiking the Sycamore Trail by myself. I set off partway through the day, so I'm going to be doing an early evening hike in and trying to camp at some new to me sites at least one of the 2 nights that I'll be out here. It's just been gorgeous weather, although we hit a warm swing right on the days that I'd blocked out for camping. And just needed some alone time to contemplate. It's that time of year for me. So we'll do that together, I guess. And I will see you on the trail. All right, we are at the Hickory Ridge Trailhead. It is just after 5 p.m. It is a gorgeous evening with golden sun and just the tiniest touches of color on the trees. So I'm really looking forward to a breezy little hike. I'm going to get down the hill and into the Sycamore Creek Valley and then check out some of the undesignated campsites we've seen as we hike along that way. Okay, let's get rolling. This is the 3rd time that I've been on the Sycamore Loop Trail. Once in May with Turtle, once in June, Creature, and now just by myself. It's familiar but still fun. Just a good trail. All right, I can see the first of the sites I was considering taking for tonight just down the hill there. So I'm going to get down and check out the hanging tree options and water access and see how far I've gone before I decide whether I'm stopping there or moving on. So, this first site at the very base of the hill, as I had heard happens in the fall, the creek is dried up at this point. It gets much heavier later down, so I'm going to keep hiking and find a spot where I have water access. If I get tired before I find that spot, I will manage through tonight. I will be a little bit of a tight place if the entire creek is dried up. But at the very worst, there is the pond up at Site 5, and so I know I can access water tomorrow, even if I don't find any tonight. It just will hopefully be down here instead of all the way up the top of the ridge. Undesignated Site 2 is also a bust for water. It's also a bust for good hammock spacing trees of the adequate size, so I could probably keep going for about another hour before it's getting really dark. So Let's just mosey on down this train set. Is it stressful to keep coming across sections of the creek that were full and flowing in spring that are empty now?
Sure.
Is it a possible water source in that tiny little pond right there that is all that's left at this first creek crossing? I mean, technically, yes. But it's not a survival situation. I have 1.5 liters of water in my bottles. And I know the creek does get deeper and broader as we go along. So, hey, we'll make it. Sunset still isn't for another hour 20, something like that. I did forget to look up specific sunset time today. But being down in the creek valley, the sun is definitely below the ridge now. It feels dim and probably contributing to my sense of urgency. And I'm trying not to rush too much, just carry on steady. Maybe there'll be water and I'll camp in any place. Or maybe I'll just carry on before. Campsite 3 is filled with waist-high plants. So yeah, I'm carrying onward. There are suddenly so many of these little golden yellow mushrooms. Gonna have to try to figure out what these ones are. They're cool though. Okay, my good old friend Site 4. Also, quite a lot of plants growing up, but a little more clear space. Somebody was busy geode breaking here. I'm not going up that hill tonight, so this is where we're camping. I'm gonna drop my pack and go scout the creek. So my optimism was a little unfounded. Let's get the hammock up. Okay, that's up. Again, it's supposed to be a rainless night. I'm kind of on the fence, but the view was really pretty while I was laying down without the tarp, so I'm gonna eat first and then decide on tarp afterward, because I'm starving. Yeah. Time to cook. A very good meal historically, for when my spirits are down. I need 11 ounces. First, let's set up the stove, though. There's been a weird mix of changes in the seasonality on this trail. Odd that the trail itself is a little less overgrown, but the sites are more overgrown. There aren't really fall colors yet. Little hints of gold or copperiness in trees, but in the section that had a lot of sycamores, there's a bunch of sycamore bark down, which is always kind of an early fall thing for me. I was expecting the creek to be drier, but I was not expecting it to be this dry. I'm kind of kicking myself for not filling this at home too. I was in let's save a little weight to make it a little easier on my joints. Each season is still new to me. I haven't done a full year of this yet. I'm still figuring things out. How come there's no water, but there's still mosquitoes? Ugh. Oh, I forgot how bright orange this meal is. This feeling that I'm having right now, what am I even doing out here? Why did I do this? Which I'm not having strongly right now, but it's definitely present. It is finally starting to become familiar. As much as I've had some really amazing experiences backpacking, you got to get through this to get to those experiences. My hope for right now is that my experience tonight will include a really good night of sleep. And maybe a nice morning tomorrow before I break camp and get up the hill. One interesting thing to note, since we just did Bloodroot Trail about 2 weeks ago, again, and then this now, how many fewer bugs there were there. It's annoying to experience so many bugs in these woods, but it's also a sign of a really healthy ecosystem. Bugs are super important, and I think they're pretty cool. I just don't particularly like being bothered by them bouncing off my face or trying to suck my blood when I'm tired and cranky, especially. Let's see, how much water do I have left? I have almost 26 ounces. I'll need 6 ounces for the new coffee that I have, and however much for breakfast. So I'll even still have some water left from this in the morning. So I just want to drink from my element bottle for drinking water tonight, and then have this for going up the hill tomorrow. Dinner has been eaten. Evening hygiene has been done. It is 8:35 and quite dark already.
Good morning, campers. It is just after 9 a.m. I had a long, somewhat broken, but still very restful time in my hammock. And I'm feeling a little more hopeful, and I'll probably feel even more hopeful with coffee and breakfast in me. So let's get that started, shall we? Unfortunately, the Rocky Mountain Scramble was a little bit of a bust. The eggs were not the worst egg texture I've ever had, but one of the larger chunks was definitely pretty rubbery. The big letdown was the flavor. It was pretty much just bland, overlaid with a loud note of black pepper, and that was about it. So I got it all down. It wasn't inedible, but it was not super pleasant, and I'm filling in the corners with a bar and some other snacks before I pack up and start my way up that hill. Okay, all trails estimates, I've got 1.5 miles. I guess it's probably going to end up being closer to 2 to get to Site 5. Definitely some elevation gain. Here begins the climb. Did it. I can see the pond. Oh boy. Hello, Site 5. Empty this out into me, and then go collect some water. That's fun. Okay, buddy. I've gotten
all of my bottles filled, so let's try to get you back in the pond. All right. I think for the first time on this trip, I have finally relaxed. I've had time to just enjoy the woods, feel the quiet, let it soak in me, and spend some time contemplating. The me of 3 years ago would not have been able to picture the me of today. I mean, like, some of the very superficial physical changes. Yeah, I have met some of my goals, not all of them. Puberty takes a very long time, even if you're in your 30s. But a lot of the things that I was terrified of, that I was so scared of that I couldn't make myself contemplate that, no, I really was a man. And I really needed to transition until I was in my 30s. A lot of what I was scared of has happened, is ongoing. But I'm still happy. I don't regret a thing. A lot of what I'm terrified of is out of my control. I can't control how individual people react to me. I absolutely cannot control the national discourse around trans people. But I can control me. I actually do have a decent amount of control over my body. I can control how I introduce myself. I can legally control my name and my gender marker right now. I can control my self-image. And that's what makes the biggest difference. One of the really defining moments for me was picturing myself going on a hike in the woods. And that picture was of me as a man. And I just could not let that go. And now I'm doing it.
Another good feature of the new stove, it's much quieter. Dinner has been eaten, hygiene is done, hammock is stocked for the night. It is just after 7, but even though sunset isn't for another 40 minutes or so. It's getting quite dim here as the sun dips below the ridge and the thick trees block out remaining brightness in the sky. Time for a quiet evening in the woods, and then eventually sleep. One of the other things I forgot to mention earlier when I was talking about transition, having decided to go for that, literally nothing else is as scary anymore. So whether it's been the much more scary trips that have happened earlier in this year with storms or rough terrain or anything else, or even just like today and yesterday and the water situation, I know I can handle it because I've been able to handle this. And we're rolling. Got 3.5 miles probably to the trailhead. Okay, so I've made it about half a mile from camp. I'm beginning to feel onset of migraine. So time to take meds, mix up an electrolyte drink, rest for just a little bit, and then carry on. I've made another half a mile in about half an hour. I'm taking a pack off break to try to help my shoulders and neck recover. And sitting there feeling worried as they're not recovering and realizing it's because the migraine pain is kicking in. This time I caught one of the earliest migraine warning symptoms before I even had any pain. And taking meds early helps, but I often will have a wave of pain even after I've taken the meds, before the meds kick all the way in, and I think that's what's happening. I kind of knew it would happen. I was hoping it wouldn't happen. There's not much I can do other than rest when I feel like it's helping and keep going on when it doesn't feel like it's hurting more to keep moving. Huzzah. Alright, so my phone died before I made it to the trailhead, but I didn't. That sure was a solo hike. It went much better than my last solo trip, my first solo trip did. It definitely still had its ups and downs, literal and metaphorical. I feel justified in my confidence at the skills that I do have with backpacking at this point, and I'm looking forward to doing more solo trips this fall, especially as the weather gets better and better. I definitely learned some things about water sources in the trails to Deam, and it tracks with what I had heard about water sources backpacking in Indiana in the fall in general. So I'll need to get a better feel for that with experience, but be a little more cautious in the upcoming season. I also definitely learned that when I do have to pull from non-ideal sources, even if it's overkill to double treat with the aqua tabs,
for the peace of mind and the adjustment to the flavor, it's 100% worth it, at least for me. But for now, I just want to get home and get clean and get food. So, I will see you all next time.